Okay, class, as I was telling you, the first thing I'm gonna do is to call out the attendance. So just give me some seconds. Meanwhile, I'm going to explain you what we are going to do today. Okay, so I asked you for an essay and a personal reflection. So remember, you need to cover those two aspects for this part. But in this case, what I need you to do, or that it's going to be also part of your test, your final test in order to, or your ordinary test in this case, is like the measurement or like the spoken part of your test. In this case, this is going to consist in, well, you already sent me your written papers. So what I need you to do now is to explain me, or with your own words, tell me what is your project about and what is like the main idea of it. So in this case, you're going to give me a brief summary of your written paper, and then in that case, I'm going to just um, look for it. Well, in this case, as I told you, this is going to be part of your evaluation, and then at the end of the day, you're going to have your final grade for your ordinary. Well, that is for your ordinary test, and in that way, you're going to meet your final grade like as a whole, like what is the complete or the final grade, taking into account the first term evaluation, the second term evaluation, and the ordinary test. Okay. So as I told you, I'm going to call out the attendance. Just give me some seconds. This is not working as fast as I want to, or as I wish to. But do you have any question related to what I have explained it to you? Class?
No, teacher.
Okay. So as I told you, give me some seconds because this is not working as fast as I want to or as I wish to. Then I'm going to just start calling out the attendance. And once we finish, we're going to start doing this part, okay? This is going to be your spoken evaluation for this term. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna start calling out the attendance class. Okay, remember, if you are not, or if it is not possible for you to answer or to give me an answer by using your mic, um, you can tell to other classmate that said that you are in here. Okay. Okay, give me a second. Okay. Meanwhile, this starts. Tell me, how did you feel, or yes, how did you feel by writing your essay? Was it easy or was it difficult for you? Class?
Teacher,
Tell me.
bueno, the essence, it was very difficult for me because um, the grammatical part is very difficult for me.
Okay, so we're going to, as I told you, this is like just matter of practice. And well, once you just practice what you already know, this is going to be easier for you to just get like the use or to get used to the use of the language. Okay, so I'm gonna start calling out the attendance and tell me if you're here or if done. Please tell to your classmate if you're not, it is not possible for you to answer it. Okay, so Kevin, is Kevin in here? Okay, Erika,
Here, teacher.
thank you. Andy,
Present.
Sandra,
Present.
thank you. Lily, is Lily in here? Nice.
Present.
Okay, Daniela,
Here, teacher.
Yatsiri, is Yatsiri in here? Yatsiri,
Profe, tal vez no se ha conectado porque
Marta,
creo que luego tiene problemas con su teléfono.
Yatsiri, right?
Sí, profe.
Okay, thank you for telling me that. Okay, Marta,
Presente. Present.
okay, thank you. Diana, Diana,
Profe, Diana tuvo problemas con su internet, me imagino que no debe tardar.
okay, thank you for telling me. Leila,
Here, teacher.
thank you. Dulce,
Present.
thank you. Alma,
Present, teacher.
thank you. Arturo,
Present.
thank you. Ruby,
Here. Here.
thanks. Yes, thank you. Victor,
Present.
Janetsi, thanks. Monica,
Present, teacher.
Jessica,
Present.
thanks. Dulce,
Present, teacher.
thank you. Axel,
Present.
Victor,
Present.
Diana,
Present.
Iris.
Present, teacher.
Okay, thank you, class. So, as I told you, and as I was telling you, you're going to just have this part. And this is going to be a brief or a short explanation about what is the main idea of your essay, what are like the yes, the main points you focus on your written paper. So in this case, as I told you, you're going to just explain me just a little bit of it. Remember to use well, obviously you already wrote it in here in that part. So when you read, you will at the same time learn some expressions or vocabulary that it's going to be useful for you. In this case, that's why I need you to explain me. Okay, like from your experience in writing, what you learn in that experience, and at the same time you need to focus on the part of like the improvement of your spoken skill or your speaking skill in this case, and then it's going to be like by the written paper and your explanation. And in that case, I'm going to focus on just getting your grades. Okay. So, are you ready, class? Let's start doing this. This is going to be in the list order. So the first one is Kevin. Is Kevin in here? Okay. Then Erika. Erika, please go ahead and explain me what are the main aspects of your written paper, please. So, Erika, are you ready for it? Ready? Erika?
Here, teacher. Mm,
Okay.
este, it's good while they having a hard time with English. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and mm, and because English important is important.
Mm-hmm. Okay, in this case, don't wait for your approval. Just tell me like what are your thoughts about your written paper and what are the main aspects. And when you finish, just tell me you're finishing, well, or you have finished, and don't worry for the rest, okay? Continue.
Mm, eso sería todo. Bueno, es que lo dije en general, profe.
Okay, thank you. Let's go with Andy. Okay, Andy, I'm having some problems with your microphone, so I don't know if you can listen to me, but I couldn't or I can't listen in this case. Yes, but it's like some technical problems, like the your voice sounds like very distortionated, so it's like a lot of distortion in your voice.
Profe, ¿ya me escucha?
Okay, yes, now it gets better. So continue, please.
Lo siento, es que. Yes. The reflection or
Like
the implication.
this is going to be related to the essay.
Okay. When and the personal, the English start to open up the world, listening to music, writing articles, looking for information, professional. I want to work in abroad. In it increase the value of your resume, learn different things, and give you experience. But travel is necessary to know English. So it's very important that we learn good the English. And personally, I got to know people from different part of the world. It helped me to understand my favorite books, and listen to music, and understand my favorite music. Creo que eso es todo.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thanks, teacher.
Welcome. Sandra, please go ahead.
Yes, teacher. The difficult I find in English is when connecting ideas or sentence. And in my essay, I spoke about the influence that English has on society, since it is a world language that in most jobs require and winning my profession, it will help me in the future. Mm, Eso es todo, profe. Perdón.
Okay, thank you. So Lily is not in here. Anais?
Um, English is very difficult for me, but it's very important for my career science. It will help me in my next jobs. So I have to improve. I feel that I must improve my pronunciation since it's not very good. But I think the most complicated thing for my grammar. Y ya.
Okay, excellent. Good, thank you. Okay, so let's continue with Dani. Yes, Dani.
Yes, teacher. ¿Me escucha bien? No, es que mi micrófono falla, pero ¿me escucha bien?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I got you clear.
Okay. In personal and grammatical was become very difficult for me. The other than sentence must follow more than anything. The time in the with sentence must be transformed. In English in my career has you be to enter on the aquí the hotel vocabulary. You will have to know the specific team that respond the art sector or department. Um, mm, I think they will have like more in the lean English for the hotel or administrative branch and general English, since we are going to indicative on self to team power. Mm, I can finish the for the administrative, so I did learn English not 100%. No.
In 100%. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yatsiri,
Good morning, teacher.
morning.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Okay, in this case, what I am asking you to do is to explain me, like in an oral way, explain me, or in a spoken way, explain me, what are the main parts of your essay?
Excuse me. Yeah.
No, don't worry.
Well, for me, the learning English is the only universal language because it's the only language that anyone can understand in the 5 continents. It's easy to use how important English is around the world. Reason number one. Sorry, teacher.
Don't worry.
The English makes more necessary the employees. You'll use the English in business meeting, conference, and general to contacts. But service company because the tourist cover focus on that. English gives you access to best university on the world. In my experience, wherever university in the USA, even at any university in the world, in using the English, the teacher.
Tell me.
Voy a salir un momento, voy a tomar agua, disculpe.
Okay, don't worry. So when you get back, just tell me, and if you want to finish your participation, we're going to do it. Okay, so
Yes,
let's go
teacher.
with Marta. Okay, yes, we're going to continue with Marta.
Present, teacher.
Hi, so please go ahead.
Okay. In general, I consider the English language important because it is something essential that they ask of you today in a job. And in my career, it is also very important, especially because you are always talking to people. To people, um, it is quite difficult for me to listen to a conversation or audio and to be able to understand it. It also makes me very sad to speak in front of the other people, and that makes me very nervous when trying to speak the English language. Um, mm, 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 mm. Creo que eso es todo, teacher, porque, bueno, puse más cosas, pero creo que eso es como lo más importante.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, then, Chatsi, are you in here? Or then we're going with Diana.
Yes, teacher. Good morning.
Morning.
Um, good. In general, when I got my insight, I realized that it is necessary or a change of life, even though I have difficulty with the language, and so language is a fundamental basis for being able to communicate with the world. Eso es todo, teacher.
Okay. Good, thank you. Okay, please go ahead. It's your turn.
Here, teacher.
Hi.
In my AC, I talked about how over time I have tried to learn in English, but I have not been able to learn in the because of the danger and fear that it gives my when speaking in public. English will be important because we work in tourism. We will work with tourists who all speak English. I would like to learn in English without so much grammar and for my English to be more natural.
Okay.
Eso sería todo, teacher.
Thank you. Okay, so let's go back to Yatsiri's participation. So please continue.
Thank you. In
You're
addition
welcome.
to the reasons that I have explained, the English language is very important for the world of technology, but is also important for your, your daily life. Learning English is not just going to class, it is understanding the language to be able to express. And personally, English language has helped me meet new people, and this give a chance to increase to my job opportunity save as me increase develop new knowledge, and that I talk as well. And so many things may learning English difficult and confusing. It's grammar, structure, it's a spelling, um, and rules for me. Is all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's continue with Dulce.
Yes, teacher. Um, I believe that English is very essential for my day since for most tourists it is the way to communicate with them. Also, in most jobs and schools, they already ask you for the minimum percentage of speaking the language. By having English as a second language, we can generate higher income and get better jobs. And what is difficult for me is to understand will that they say.
Okay, were you reading? Were you reading any paper? Dul, were you reading? Because, well, in this case, I'm asking you this because it sounds like you were reading, as I told you. And for some people, or for us, it's very common that when we just try to read something, it's like we just go um, just by missing a lot of pronunciation rules or pronunciation aspects. So try to, well, in this case, what I need you to do is to develop your speaking skill. And in this case, when you try to express your own ideas, we'll commit some mistakes. If you have noticed in some of the classes, I have also commit mistakes, but at the same time, it's important to know that part. Like when you're um, talking or when you are expressing your ideas, it should be like according to your own style and with your own rhythm. So, as I told you, it is not important to speak like faster. The important thing is like to learn to speak. You can start like explaining something slowly, but by taking into account all these aspects that are related to the pronunciation, and as I told you, the speed or the fluency is going to be something you're going to just gain by experience or through the experience of speaking. You're going to just gain speed at the moment of speaking. So don't worry about like, okay, try to focus on pronouncing well or good what you already know, and in that case you're going to improve your skills. Thank you for your participation then. Fernanda?
Sí, teacher. Um, of the importance of English in our professional lives. I'll talk about the fact that in the most jobs, not with days, they ask you do speak English since it is important for the company. And well, what is difficult for me is pronunciation. Will what cause me its pronunciation or and also paying attention to the people who already master it will because they speak very fast, and I don't under
understand them. Eso es todo, teacher.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Arturo?
Hi, teacher.
Hi.
I think the English helps in the labor field because they're boosting look for people translator. It is indispensable in my university. The grant allows good communication with people from different countries. People say that English is very useful because for the opportunities it offers, and this is because a large part of students speak English. Finish.
Okay, thank you. Ruby? Ruby, are you there? Okay, Ruby, please go ahead and explain us what are the main points of your essay. Ruby, are you ready? Ruby? Ruby, are you ready for your participation or to participate? Yes? Ruby? Ready? Ruby, are you ready? Okay, so let's continue. If Ruby comes back, we're going to continue with that part. So, Victor?
Here, teacher. Thanks. The I think that the English not is very hard to learn, but the problem is that the people don't practice all days the English. For that is so complicated to learn to 100%. But today is very important for every student or professional because the works or jobs um, is essential to control the English and other idioms for have more ¿cómo lo diría? For don't have competence. And yeah, it's all, teacher.
Okay. Okay, just a brief comment about this. You mentioned, well, I'm going to give you general comments that are going to apply for all of you. But in this case, you mentioned the word idioms, right?
Right.
This is going to be like kind of strange because if we translate it or we translate it into Spanish, or it's like a false cognate. Do you know what a cognate is? Guys, do you know what cognates are? Well, in this case, a cognate is going to be a word that is like similarly written in different language. For example, when we say idiom, if we translate it or we think, well, if we translate it, we're going to figure out that it's like a very different or different thing, or has a very different meaning. The word idiom is similar to idioma in Spanish, right? So in that case, that's an idiom. That's well, in this case, that's an idiom. It's different. It's like kind of similar, and that's why it's called a false cognate. A false cognate is like a word that looks similar to other, but has a different meaning. So a false cognate is the word that maybe is similar to another in, for example, in Spanish, but it has not the same meaning. So idiom is a word that is valid in Spanish, but we have a different thing for idioms. So I'm going to give you an example of an idiom, and then you're going to tell me if that, how do you call them in Spanish? Okay? So here we go. Maybe you look on the, well, the translator is not going to give you some specifics translation, but I'm going to give you an example of an idiom, and then you're going to give me, okay? When, for example, when you say like, spill the beans, do you know how could you say it? Or when you're like, I don't know if you have like watching some movies, or it's like it's like kind of cliche, but when some people are like in a piece on the theater, maybe in a play, when they are in a play, so in theater they say break a leg, rómpete una pierna. It's supposed that a lot of people say when you're in a play, okay, cuando están como en obras de teatro. So people say rómpete una pierna because they say like this is like for lucky. Yes. So it's kind of how can we call them in Spanish? Refranes. So we can be like, yeah, it's kind of similar to the things we have in here, like refranes or some specific phrases we use in Spanish. it's going to be called the same thing in English, but they are called idioms. When we talk about idiomas, like Spanish, Portuguese, French, Italian, German, we call them languages. Okay, so that is just in order for you to clarify this part. Idiom is like some expressions we use every day to refer to a specific situation or to make a reference to different situations. And languages are called idiomas. So that's like just in order for you to clarify and to have a better idea of it. But thanks, Victor, for your participation. It was a good participation. Just I wanted to clarify those aspects because that's pretty confused. At the beginning, when I started to learn English, it was like it happened with me because and yeah, you remind me that part when I was trying to say like all the same languages and I say idioms and I was like kind of confused with that situation. This is like just in order for you to not to be confused. Okay, so thank you. Oh, thank you for your participation, and let's continue then. Janetsi.
Hi, teacher.
Hi.
I am that's very difficult for me. Mean when you talk English, I have difficult with pronunciation, but in the tourist sector, idiom is fundamental. I want to take English lesson. Thank for patient with us. Pues finish.
Okay. Thank you for your participation. Monica.
Hi. The importance of English in my life professional. English will always be a stick footer. The ability to speak two language and more universal is our success. That we want to have a professional talk and meet people.
Mm-hmm. Is that it? Okay, thank you for your participation. So let's continue with Jessica.
Hi, teacher. Good morning.
Morning.
Pues the English in my life with what I wrote in my side is important because if they open the doors for my to work, it is a little difficult for me, but it is not impossible to learn a new language. And as a student, I will help me to collaborate with companies that require trainer personnel. In this case, speak with tourists, the country. They will be in general teacher. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you for your participation. So let's continue then. Denise.
Hi, teacher. ¿Sí me escucha?
Hi. Yes, of course. Continue, please.
Okay. My, a general idea, and in my report, I spoke about the importance of the language, and in the line of the communication that is has and that is also the language of business. Mm, that almost everyone must take into a note this universal language, and the finality what I difficult for me the language since I began to study it the verb tenses got they confused, and I know how to understand uh, it but no speak it. I wanted I know that I will help use a lot in your personal, professional, and economic life. Finish.
Okay, thank you for your participation.
Thank you.
Axel?
Yes, teacher. Well, I work in my essay that English it's a key to a new world, a professional world. The communication is basic in business, also in hotels, which is where tourists are for is the most difficult for me is the oral part because I can't understand sometimes the people who talk very good the English because it's very fast the language and in my mind it's very difficult process process the process to translate the words. Um, well, I feel the grammar part is un poco más fácil, easy for me.
Easier?
Easier for me.
Yes, it's gonna be easier.
Because it's most it's more easy for me see the words in a paper because I can organize my ideas, but when I want to say that words in my mind, it's a little slow. I don't know. So, but the English is
So you yes,
the
you go slower. That's like
slowly. Okay.
yes.
But the English is a key for to a new experience because in another countries is the it's a tool, una herramienta, así se dice, it's a tool. It's a tool because it's the principal language in the world in a world globalized world and
Globalized.
globalized world.
Globalized.
Yes, that is all. Bueno, that is the importance of the English.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Victor.
Yes. I think English is important because it's opened the doors to new job opportunity, experience, and learning about new things. Now English is essential for a school since most of the already ask for an advanced level of English. Learning a new language serves as experience and personal motivation. And to learn, we must review the language a lot and repeat it. In fact, for me, career is important to learn English and another language to be able to communicate better. And sometimes it is difficult for me to understand what they say.
Okay, thank you. Is that it?
Teacher,
Tell me.
disculpe, dice Ruby que está teniendo muchos problemas con su internet, que ahorita se vuelve a conectar en un momento y que si le da permiso de pasar, aunque sea al final.
Yes, don't worry. That's what we are going to do. Like, for example, I already noticed that Kevin just came to, or is connected, or is into the class. So we're going to just follow this part, like just continue with you, and then we're going to go back to listen Kevin and Ruby's participation. So don't worry for that. So in this case, don't be worried about it. She's going to have the opportunity to participate. And in any case, she couldn't like participate because of the internet connection. She can send me an audio message or a voice note in WhatsApp. But well, the important thing here is that all of you are going to participate, so don't worry for it. Okay, then Diana, you're welcome, and thanks for telling me that. Diana.
Okay, teacher. The English important is a fundamental part for us. We should know truths. Since we start to practice and service, they put us to the test in your English. We are up to continue in the list. The English for me is very cool language. Interesting, but the fact that I like it. It complicates my pronunciation in vocabulary. Those are the two things they complicate me the most. That is it recommendable to have an adequate level of English to be able to get a good go and not yet too complicated. Más. I have gone to course to learn more, but I feel that the teacher would have given my class outside of the university don't know help me much. Finish.
Okay, thank you. Iris?
Here, teacher. My personally English is difficult for me because of the pronunciation and the chunk of um, school and the lack of consistency has been important for the course since we can have a good form hope from it. Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. Okay, so Kevin, I need you to explain me well, in this case, according to your essay, you need to explain me what are the most important points of it. This is going to be in an spoken way, so please go ahead.
Yes, teacher. Disculpe, es que me quedo un poco dormido. Disculpe.
No, don't worry.
Okay. The most important is the English for me. Why? Because it's a language more more important around the world. And many people talk me about this. I think why them ay, permítame un momento. Why them here and many person and many people speaking English. For example, people from China, people from and Mexico, people from France, and is spoken is the English, like that the principal language, and and many times hear trouble. Um, for that, the English is very important for me. Um, 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 I can give communication with everything, and the same. They can communication with me. Um, the, but, and to make my inside. Um, for the topics, for um the themes in the past, y in the present continuous, and And just for this um for do this eh, for those these stems I have um I have difficult um problems and difficulties to moment to write uh, to the test o essay porque así se dice. But I have the probability of the hub and I can finish this test the main better. Can you understand me?
Okay. Yes, I got it. Don't worry.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, so Ruby, you couldn't come here. Okay, let me check because some of you are sending me that I need to listen what you want, or in this case, what is some audios about. So give me a second, please. Okay, I'm sorry for this. It's going to be like a kind of situation I'm just dealing with. So give me a second, please. Class, can you hear me?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for this, but the internet went off in here, so I had like just trying to fix it. Well, in this case, as I was telling you, first of all, I want to congratulate you because it's like learning a language, any language you want to, is a very complicated process. So, the important thing in here is that you need to think. You have to have like this positive thought about or learning. So if you really want to learn a language, you need to make a kind of commitment, or you need to be committed with the purpose of learning a language, because it's going to be a very difficult thing. And well, especially for us, because as I told you, Spanish speakers tend to pronounce all the letters as they are uh, presented in any word. And for example, in English, we don't do that. We need to just change a lot of sounds. The pronunciation then is going to be a little difficult. It's going to be a very difficult aspect. As I told you, in some cases for me, well, when I was learning, or when I was like, for example, at university or some previous courses I took in order to learn the language, um, it's very like complicated when you don't know, like, for example, or when someone is like, okay, you are going to do this, then it's kind of difficult to get like an appropriate pronunciation at the beginning. But this situation is just matter of practice. As I told you, just like if you want to learn it, you need to be committed to the purpose of learning. So I remember at the beginning, like for example, when we started the course, you were like kind of shy, but it was like because you were kind of speaking English. Remember, and as I told you, and I will always, or that's the way I think, like, okay, if we are like learning something, that's like the purpose, okay? We are learning. So it's important to commit mistakes and to correct the mistakes we commit, okay? So in this case, don't worry, like, okay, don't worry or don't feel ashamed, like, because for example, I used to think that when I was younger, I'm not so old, but when I was younger and I started to learn the language, it was like, okay, but what if people think that I am not good at speaking something, or what if people think that I am just having a lot of mistakes or something like that? Like sometimes the barriers we set are like the ones we create for ourselves. So in this case, it's like, okay, don't be afraid, don't be ashamed, and don't feel nervous or uncomfortable. The important thing here is like we are like children. Children like learn something and they can pronounce it well at the beginning. So you already know how children talk. Well, in this case, so how is the children's talk? In this case, like remember when we are with children, they are like, okay, they mispronounce some specific sounds or something like that. It's kind of what we face when we learn a different language. Okay, it's important to know that we can fix it, or we can like just improve that in a very peculiar way, because we are aware of a lot of things that we need to improve. And that's like some things with just pressure of ourselves. But actually, and my advice for you is like to feel confident. Okay, everyone is going to commit mistakes. As I told you, me as a teacher, sometimes I commit mistakes in some rare cases, because it's like what we do. We always will commit mistakes. It's something we are going to work with, and it's something we're going to just fix. But don't worry, committing mistakes, it's okay. Okay, yes, it's like going to be like, okay, yeah, as I told you, when we talk about languages, it's going to be very different. It's a very complete and difficult and different situation, because for example, in my own experience, as I told you, when I was trying to learn, or when I started to learn English, I was like kind of afraid of someone judge me, but it was like, okay, everyone is going to commit mistakes, so I'm learning, and that's the part of the process. Okay, committing mistakes is part of the process of learning. Once you learn, like okay, if you were like perfect of your fluency speaking or any kind of aspect of the language were good, you won't be here by learning the language. So don't worry, that's my first advice for you. The second advice is like, okay, if you really want to learn and improve into the language, the first thing you need to do is not to be afraid, practice more, like maybe, and this is a very peculiar advice that it helps me. For example, a teacher I had, and that actually is a good friend of mine. It's like kind of my best friend or something like that. He told me once, like, okay, if you really want to learn a language, try to listen to material that it's like related to the language and try to imitate what you are listening. It doesn't matter if you are like practicing, just try to imitate the sounds or the pronunciation people have, the accent. So it's gonna be easier for you. Like you have a lot of resources to do. Like for example, nowadays a lot of students and people have Netflix or Prime Video or some of the platforms in order to watch movies, series, and those kind of programs. And there you have a lot of options. Like I have been like watching a movie some days, and it was in on Netflix, I think. I can remember that, but I noticed that they have like a lot of different languages. So if you really want to do it, you're going to, or you have a lot of tools nowadays. You have a lot of tools in order to practice a language. So look for it and make this commitment. This is going to be a personal commitment. As I told you, this is going to be something you want to do. Okay, not because other people want for you to speak a language. It's because the main of the reasons, or like the main of the idea of this is like that you want to do it. And I could swear or ensure you that you're going to just be perfect English speakers if you practice and if you lose this shame of speaking. So don't worry. You are learning, and as I told you, when your learning is valid to commit mistakes. And well, another thing you need to just be aware of is like when you're going to, or when you're talking about a language, it's not something like we are going to stop learning. Okay, a language has a lot of things we're going to learn, and some of the parts you took into account. For example, Axel mentioned it, Victor mentioned it, and it was like, okay, uh, remember when we learn a language, all in us is going to change. It's not the same way we think when we speak Spanish, or the same way we think when we speak English, or in my case when I speak Portuguese. Like the way we think about any specific aspect is going to change, and that's like a very peculiar and important thing of languages. Languages allow you to have like a different perspectives according to what you are developing into the language. So class, in this case, that's what I want you to say. Like if you really want to learn, make this commitment and try to learn a lot from different aspects. When you learn a language, it's going to be like not only related to the grammar aspects or the pronunciation, or like if you are able to say something if without any mistake. When you learn a language, when you are really learning a language, it's like learning in a social, cultural, historical aspect. So you need to just learn a lot, like customs, traditions. It's something you need to be aware of in order to have like a better perspective of why the language works as it works, or why the language is like different. What are the differences between languages? And as the same way, languages are different because the way people think is different. So it's not the same way we think, or like, or yes, the way we think or we act here in Mexico, that, like, for example, American people act and think in the United States. So this is going to be a very cultural background, and then that's what is going to help you, and that is going to be like very peculiar, but it's important for you to know it. So as I told you, I want to congratulate you for that, because you have like been working in it, and you are like losing or you are not fearful, or you're not afraid of speaking the language. Maybe it's like, okay, you feel nervous, you still feel nervous, and that's something we all feel. But learning a language is not impossible. In my own experience, I learned Portuguese on my own, and then I, like, for example, without taking any course or class of Portuguese, then I just present my certification and I got a B2 level, so it was good. Like, but as I told you, this is always like the commitment. I remember when I started learning Portuguese, it was like, okay, I just started learning a song or listening to a song, and I didn't knew what was it about, but it was like, okay, I'm going to try to just understand. Like, maybe if I get one word, it's going to be an achievement for me. That is something like you're going to do. Maybe if you had a like the most common thing we have access to is to the music. So maybe it's that what is going to do. Like, for example, some of you mentioned this is going to be like related to it's difficult for you to get what people say. As you are learning, maybe you can just practice your listening skills with that. Maybe listening to music is going to be a good aspect for you. And as I told you, it's not like, or don't if you can understand or the whole song is going to be good. But why don't we start with this? Like, okay, maybe if I just understand two ideas of the song, or like at least two words in the song or a phrase in the song, and I know what it is and how can I play it, it's gonna be a good achievement for you. So don't be so hard with you. As I told you, learning a language is a very completed process, because you're going to just do a lot of things in order to just do it. So don't be hard on yourself, and don't think that you're not good at speaking the language. Okay? So everything is going to be like just by practicing. It's like when you're learning to ride a bike. The first times, like, maybe you have like some accidents, or you can fall it, and something like that. But by practicing, you're going to improve, and you're going to just gain speed in some kind of the situation. So think about a language like that. It's like you're going to just give small steps in order for you to start running in the language, okay? So first of all, well, as I told you, I want to congratulate you because of your achievements in the language. I know that it's not easy. And I know that these online classes have a lot of situations that are like, okay, we need to just do this, and that. It is not like a kind of like a personal interaction. But I have been learning, and as me as a teacher, I have learned from all of you. So as I told you, it is always, or life is always about learning a lot of things. So I hope you have learned, like, not only grammar, but like, for example, any kind of specific situation from this class. And well, just to remind you, like, if you need something in the future, like, for example, like any help with any kind of situation that is related to the language, and if you think I am um, or I can help you, don't dove on sending me a message and ask me like, hey teacher, you once tell me, or can you help me to understand this situation? This is like related to this part of the language, okay? So you can count on me, class. I really enjoyed teaching you. As I told you, you taught me a lot about like your perspective of as a professional, as students, and you also helped me to improve my teaching skills. So uh, it was like a process of giving and taking from each other. So thank you so much, class. Do you comment? Class, do you have any comment?
No, teacher.
Okay, so as I told you, thank you for the opportunity to be your teacher, and I learned a lot from you. So I wish you good luck from now on, and keep on practicing and improving your English skills. You're going to be great English speakers, but it's just a matter of practice. Have an excellent weekend. Take care and good luck to your final grades. I'm gonna send you your grades when I get them. So thank you. Have an excellent day.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank
You're
you, teacher.
welcome. See you.
Thank you, teacher.
Thanks, teacher. See you.
Thanks. Oh,
Thank
you're
you,
welcome.
teacher.
See you.
Thanks, teacher. Bye.
Bye.
Now, teacher.
Tell me.
I want to say a word. I want to say thank you for dedication and attention, and thanks for being a good teacher.
Oh no, you don't have nothing to thank for. It's my pleasure, as I told you, and it's like my purpose of being a teacher is to help you. So it's good to hear that you enjoy the class. I know that it could be like a lot of things that can be improved, but thank you for your words.
Teacher, the same. Thank you for help us. Thank you for the comments, and thank you for your support. Really,
No, don't worry.
thank you very much, teacher.
It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure. So thanks to you.
Thank you, teacher. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you very much, teacher. Bye.
You're welcome, Jess. Bye.
Teacher,
Tell me.
thank you very much, Professor, for working on understand more about the English language. I like how I teach and hope they see you soon.
I hope to see you soon. I hope like when all this pandemic situation ends, we can meet personally and maybe we can just talk about like all the experience we have in here during the class. So thank you for your comments. Take care and stay safe, okay?
Okay, see you.
See you.